Welcome to John's Island. Join me this morning as I play around a disc golf and compare the Zero Pro Keystone and Peak to the premium plastic versions of the same discs. I hope too that you'll join me in meditating on Psalm 3 as I seek to glorify the Lord for His Word, for His world, and for His Redeemer. What a way to start it! Psalm 3 is a Davidic psalm, and in this case, it was written during the time that David was fleeing from Absalom, his son, during the period of the Davidic Civil War. The historical context tells us that David's in an extremely dark place. He's being actively hunted by his son who has done horrible things to his siblings, to his father's concubines. David cries out to the Lord, saying, "O Lord, how many are my foes?" He is distressed by the sheer number of those arrayed against him. More than this, his foes are rising up and saying, there is no salvation for him in God. This is an exceptionally dark set of circumstances for your family to be hunting you and for all those around you to be saying, God is done with you. Look at the circumstances. There's no hope for you to be saved. And yet David is still bringing his request before the Lord, crying out to the Lord, bringing these false testimonies before the Lord for consideration. In verse 3, David speaks the truth to combat these lies. He says, "But you, O Lord, are a strong shield, the lifter of my head, my glory all about me. When I cry aloud to you, Lord, you answer me from your holy hill." In spite of his circumstances, David is confident in the Lord, that the Lord is his strength and his help, that the Lord would answer him in his distress. And in light of these truths, he's willing to lie down and rest, knowing that the Lord has him. When he awoke, he'd found that the Lord had sustained him. For in setting aside vigilance to sleep and rest, he had trusted the Lord to remain vigilant on his behalf. He declares that though thousands surround me on every side, I will not be afraid. The Lord is with him. Instead of fear and anxiety, he cries out to the Lord, saying, "Arise, O Lord, and save me. Strike my enemy on the cheek. Defang the wicked, breaking out their teeth." This is a man who sees the wicked for what they are and trusts God to execute vengeance on his behalf. David concludes this psalm with a true statement and a hopeful imperative. First, he says, salvation belongs to the Lord. And then he cries out to the Lord, "May your blessings be on your people." Selah. Stop and consider this. David has fully countered those who told him at the beginning that there was no salvation for him in God. He says, of course there is. Salvation is only in the Lord, and his blessing is only for his people, of which David is one. Of course, a psalm like this has immediate application for us as believers, that when threatened and surrounded by enemies, when our salvation and relationship with the Lord is questioned by the redeeming God, not by God, but by his enemies, we can remember that the Lord is our shield and our strength. It is he who fights for us and will bring vengeance upon all our foes. But this psalm is of infinitely greater value to us when we see in it the fulfillment that was seen in Christ Jesus. For on the cross, Jesus was surrounded by all his foes. His enemies cried out, if he was truly the Son of God, let God save him. But there is no salvation for him in God. But our salvation was actually through Jesus. Jesus would be saved. He would be redeemed as God raised him from the dead. He cried out to the Lord, and the Lord answered him. Though he was brought low, the Lord lifted up his head. God the Father raised him in glory. Jesus Christ had laid down in death, and the Lord awoke him, having sustained his life, even from death. For the Lord did break the teeth of his enemy. Death is dead. The power of sin has lost its sting. Salvation now is with the Lord because of the finished work of Christ. And in Christ, his blessing is on his people. This is the good news of the gospel. And so in light of these great truths, let us rejoice in Christ today, for he is our salvation. The salvation that comes from God is through Jesus Christ. Let's meditate on his word, that we might even begin to see the salvation and love and glory of our God. And let's enjoy the world he's made as we look forward to Christ's return, for we recognize that he has broken the teeth of our enemies. He has defanged death, and he will bring in a new life of righteousness because his blessing is for his people. I hope you'll join me next time.